Hello, it's Rebecca here from Precious Pages Papercraft, and I'm sharing a layout today for Bramble Fox, and I'm using some goodies from the October Fox box as well as a couple of additions from the store. So I've got the lovely favourite day pack here. I love this, you get 4 pieces in it, and I love that golden colour, it's perfect for autumn layouts. So I'm going to use most of this pack on this layout. I'm using the Simple Vintage Autumn Splendour collection by Simple Stories. I think it's their autumn collection from last year. And I was really drawn to this paper here. It's like gorgeous autumnal kind of floral wreath. So I'm going to take some time to cut this out. I'm going to cut the centre of it out as well with a craft knife. I won't make you watch me do it because it takes me quite some time. There's also a little butterfly and a bumblebee as well that I've just put to one side there because I want to use those as well. So I've got that all cut out now, and I think it's absolutely beautiful. Love how it looks. And I'm just going to have a bit of a play to see where I might want to position things on the page. I've decided to go with the photo of my little boy on his own, purely because I felt like the colours worked with the paper just so much better. The other photo isn't great quality, it was done on a timer and the focus was slightly out as well, so that was bugging me. And I've decided that I'm going to trim off the kind of stalky bits that were sticking off that wreath and making it a bit unsymmetrical, really bugging me. So I've snipped those off and I'm going to reposition those elsewhere once I've got all my bits kind of together and I know where things are going to sit. So now I'm going to have my photo down onto the right corner of my wreath there with my title sitting along the bottom. And I want that round perspective that says Hello Autumn, I want to be able to kind of slightly tuck that under. So by cutting that stalky bit off of the pattern paper wreath, it allowed me to do that. So that's another reason why I trimmed those bits off. And my plan is to raise that wreath up on some foam to create a bit of dimension and shadowing. So I want to have a little bit of mixed media underneath that just for a bit more detail. So I've pulled out a couple of distress inks. The one I'm using now is Antique Linen, and I'm just using one of those blending brushes in a circular motion just to add some colour. I'm not worried about it being too neat because the wreath is going to sit on top of this, so you're not going to see all of it. I'm just going to go around the complete circle with this one first. And then I'm going to come in with some, I think Bundled Sage is the other one I use. It's a lovely kind of mossy green colour, but they both work really well with the collection. And I'm just going to add some hints of that around the outside as well. So I've just skipped through most of that process for you, but you can just see where I've got the 2 colours there. I've got the green coming out a bit further than the kind of Antique Linen colour. Now I want to work on my photo. I'm just going to mount it onto some white cardstock to help it pop a little bit, and it gives it a little bit of separation from all the colours in the collection. It just helps it to stand out. So I always add a layer of white behind my photos, and then I'm going to add kind of like a dark maroon colour as well. It matches quite well with the collection. It's actually not from the same collection. I think it's an Echo Park is it Fall or My Favourite Fall or something collection, I think it was. Oh, actually you can just see on the corner of the paper there, I think it's just called Fall. But that maroon colour worked really well with some of the leaves in this wreath, so I'm adding that behind as well. Again, lovely gorgeous autumn paper. And I'm going to raise my photo up on foam as well as the wreath. So I'm just using some A4 foam sheets, they're adhesive on one side. I just get these from the range. You can also get them online on Amazon and places as well, but I just find them really quick and easy to work with. A bit quicker than foam pads when you're using them for a large area like this. You can kind of cut the pieces a bit bigger. So I'm just going to get those stuck around the edge. Where I'm going to place my photo, I'm not going to raise that up on foam because it will sort of sit on top of my photo, which itself is going to be raised up on foam, so that will naturally raise that area of the wreath up as well. You can kind of see where I'm going to have things sitting. I've decided that I want to add a bit more ink behind where my photo is going to sit. Just that centre bit was just looking a little bit bare. So So I'm coming in with the same two colours, that's antique linen and bundled sage, and again just using one of those blending brushes in a circular motion to add those colours in. Now I'm just going to apply some quick dry tacky glue to the back of that wreath and get that stuck in place, and then I can start building up with some embellishments. And I'm not going to go too mad with embellishments because that wreath offers quite a lot of detail and interest on its own. I don't want to make it too busy, but I do want to add some bits, mainly behind my photo, to the centre of that wreath. So I'm getting my title stuck down now, my lovely golden perspective from the October Fox box. I'm using glossy accents for these. I find it holds really well. Super strong, this stuff. Once it's dry, it's almost impossible to get them off the page. So I've added my title there to the bottom, just to the left of my photo. I'm kind of trying to balance that out. My photo's over on the right, so I felt like I wanted my title over on the left. And then I've added the additional leaf sprig that you get with the set up to the right there at the top of the photo. And I've got this lovely round perspective, just matches beautifully with this wreath, so I've popped that over to the right there. And now I'm just filling in some of the gaps with those the longer stalky bits of wreath that I cut off. We've also got the Ephemera, or I think it's Bits and Pieces pack from the Simple Stories collection, that Autumn Splendour. So I'm just going through that just to pick out a few bits that I can use. I've got a couple of those kind of label or banner pieces. One says Happy Days and the other says Autumn Glory, so I'm going to add those in. Now I'm just trying to build a cluster around my photo, just because that area is looking very white at the moment, and it's quite heavy on the right hand side of my photo, so I need to have something on the left to kind of help me balance it out a bit. Just makes me a bit happier when things are symmetrical and balanced. So I've pulled out a few bits with some leaves on. So I've raised a lot of those up on foam pads to bring in a bit of dimension. And I've got that piece over on the left there, I've just popped in place, that says, I think it says Fall Days. I'm going to add some thread through that in a minute. But I wanted to get a bit more texture on the page. So I've got this roll of kind of Hessian material. I'm just going to tuck a bit to the left of my photo there. It's got a nice frayed edge, which I think works really well with autumn layouts. So just tuck that underneath all my ephemera pieces there. And then this full piece, it's got what looks like two kind of drawn on staples either side. I'm just going to go over those with some embroidery thread. I'm using 6 strands, so it's nice and thick. I'm just going to simply just do one stitch either side, exactly how it kind of is already, just to bring in a bit more texture to the page. And again, just raising that up on foam to bring in some more dimension over that side. And apologies, my cat has just decided to start purring really loudly. She loves the sound of my voice. Whenever you talk to her, she starts purring really loudly. She's currently sat on my lap and obviously listening to me talk. She's in her element. She keeps getting louder and louder, bless her. So just added some foam behind those labels as well and got those stuck in place, one on each side of my wreath. And then I've got that bee and butterfly that I cut from the same patterned paper. I'm going to bring those back in. I'm going to stick the butterfly up in the top there. I'm just sticking his body down and leaving the wings free so it looks like he's just landed on the page. And then the butterfly I've just raised up on foam. I'm having one last look through that ephemera pack to see if there's anything else I can bring in. see I've got one perspective left over on the right there from this pack. I really wanted to get that on the page, but the colour just didn't really work with the rest of the colours on the page, and then I couldn't find a place for it, so I've decided to pop that to one side and I will use that on another layout. And then I thought I was almost finished, so I'm coming in with my splatters, my mandatory splatters that I use. Always do splatters on my pages. This is a metallic gold acrylic paint. I'm just watered down. Quick tip, never throw away the packaging from your Bramble Fox perspectives. They make for great use when it comes to mixed media. So I use them for my splatters like I'm doing here, or if I'm doing the packaging technique on a background, I always use my Bramble Fox packaging, so I never get to throw that away. It always gets kept. I've got a nice stash of it to the side of my desk. So just adding some splatters and then making a few larger ones with my paintbrush. And then I'm going to leave that to dry, and I come back to my layout the next morning and I just finish it off with a few more perspectives. These are the pastel hearts from the set that's available in the store for general sale, and I've just picked out 6 of the pastel yellow ones, so I thought they worked really well with the autumn colours on the page. And I'm just getting those stuck in place, again using my glossy accents, and that will be me finished. So thank you very much for joining me today. There will be some close-ups in a minute for you. I will pop some links in the description box below as well to the Foxbox subscription page if you'd like to sign up for your monthly subscription and get some exclusives, and also to the Bramble Fox Friends Facebook group. So if you aren't already a member, do head over and join, and you get loads of inspiration in the group, and we can post your layouts. We love seeing what you create, so do head over and join if you aren't already in the group. But thanks again very much for joining me. I'll leave you with the rest of the close-ups and I'll see you next time.